Welcome once again to your leadership community. My name is Bisi Akande and I'm excited to be here. Of course, I just want to add value to you. Thank you very much for stepping in and allowing us to come into your space and share with you thoughts. Every time we connect, we are growing, we are learning, we are changing, and that way we are leading and we are able to make a difference, influencing others too, and we are changing our world. By the way, like my friends in the John Maxwell team will always say, it's our world, so we can change our world. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate the time that we spent together, and it's so good to have you coming all over from different parts of the world and joining in these sessions that we do every Sunday evening. Can I just apologize? Last Sunday we were not able to connect, and it was because of circumstances that were beyond my control. But I tell you, I missed you, and I'm sure that you missed the session also from the comments that you sent to us. Thank you very much for always being there. Really, really appreciate your time together with us. Thank you so very much. 2 weeks back, we started on, we shared some thoughts on leading into the future, and a couple of people said, that was short, that would have been, that was short, could have been longer. Yeah, of course, I wasn't out of content, but we didn't want to make it too long and too overloaded. So I thought that we would be able to extend it a little bit. So today, we're going to be looking again at leading into the future, but this time around we're going to be looking at it from the aspect of the laws of growth for leaders, because we want to go into the future, then we'll take it from where we are coming from. But before I do that, there's something I need to share with you. I signed up for Change Your World Transformational Table, a movement with John Maxwell. If you know John Maxwell, if you know me, you know that I'm connected to him, and I just love his circle. He's the number one leadership expert the world over. I think he has written more materials than anyone in this world on the subject matter of leadership. So he's coming out with a book, and the book is titled Change Your World. I'm excited too about that book, just as it is. I'm excited because it's not just a book, it's a movement. It's a movement to transform the world, and it's a movement that requires every one of us. We need to move from me to we if we are really going to change the world that is before us. And you know what? We cannot wait for someone else to change our world. We can't wait for someone else to come do it for us. It's our world. So we must take the responsibility together to change the world. Now, I signed up for that program as a facilitator, and I am a facilitator recruiter, which means that I can recruit you to my table. If you want to join with me, and I want you to join with me, if you want to join with me on that transformational roundtable, this is a great opportunity. All you need to do, everyone in the leadership community, is click on the link that is being posted right now. Just click on that link and just fill a very short form, and then of course you will be in. We'll look at the form and then we'll send you further notice of how you can be a part of this transformational table, and then together we can change our world. Now let's move in and dive into what we want to talk about today. Talking about leadership, leading into the future, and the laws of growth for leaders. Now last week we were talking about leading into the future, and I did very great thoughts there. Those 5 questions, fantastic questions. If you may have to go back there and look at it again. But there are 2 things that we really spoke about, 2 great lessons that were just so deep for me. One of them is that you need to envision the future. And we talk about vision. Vision is critical to living. You need to see the future for you to be able to feature in that future. It's very important. See, if you don't see it, there's no way you can see it. So you need to get into that future. The vision you see is the picture that you eventually enter into. So you need to be able to see that picture. That's very critical. You need to see the picture, and it has to be a big picture, massive picture. Vision is critical. I always say that those who don't have a vision become raw materials for the fulfillment of the vision of those who have a vision. You don't want to do that. You want to also be running with a vision and achieving a vision. So you've got to be able to get into a place that is bigger than you, a place that is brighter than you. You need to be able to connect with people that are doing bigger and brighter things than you, so that you can see clearer, you can see better, you can see bigger, and be able to envision a future that you would really want to live in, a future that is good enough for you as a person. And the second thing that we spoke about is that you've got to prepare yourself for the future. Now the thing is that, see, we can't be prepared for what's coming, but we can actually prepare ourselves for what's coming. You see, when people prepare, what happens is that when life happens, it doesn't happen to them. They make things happen when life happens. They don't happen with life. They make things happen. That's because they are prepared. They prepared themselves for what's coming. So how are you preparing yourself for what's coming? That's very important. You prepare yourself for what's coming by growing yourself. Now I mentioned something. I said that a vision is what shows you the picture of the future. It is growth that helps you to fit into the picture of the future. You see, when you see it, you don't fit into it, then frustration comes in. But when you see a vision and you are able to fit into that future that you see, that's because you are growing. You see, we keep growing and we keep changing. So this is why I'm so big on growth. Growth is very critical. You and I need to grow. We need to be growing on a regular basis. We need to be growing all the time. John Maxwell would always say that growth is the only guarantee that tomorrow is going to be great. See, you don't have a guarantee anywhere that tomorrow is going to be great. We don't know the future. We don't know tomorrow. We don't even know, even when somebody prophesies or kind of a seer comes and says, I can see the future, we really don't know the future. But the thing is that as we are growing, then it means that the future will definitely be a better one for us. Why? Because whatever comes, you have gotten bigger, you have gotten better, so you are better equipped, better skills. You can deal with the things that are coming your way. Why? Because you are growing. Can you just imagine if you had a child and the child wasn't growing? I mean, just think about the experience. Think about the emotions that will be involved in someone having a child that is not growing. Think about what it will look like if you have a business and the business just stayed in the same place. Think about the emotions that you would have. Think about how you would feel. Think about the experience that will come with having something and that thing is not growing. So if you are not growing, that's the kind of experience that you're going to have. Those are the kind of emotions that you're going to have. You know, I remember having been kind of stagnated in one place for a while. It was so frustrating. Going to work was kind of not exciting. Everything just was a drag, and everything was a drag. I really didn't even want to push. There was no motivation to get up and go. Why? Because I wasn't growing. But the moment I began to grow, a difference comes in. That's why you see a child who takes the first step. You know, I don't know if you've seen children take the first step. I'm blessed to have 3 in my house, and I've seen them grow. You know, when they take the first step, they're so excited. Parents are excited. Everyone is excited. In fact, sometimes they take the second step, they fall. But you know what? They are so excited that they want to get up and even fall again. They're excited to fall again, and that's because they know that they get better every day. Now, leaders need to prioritize growth. Now, let me give you. If you grow yourself, you grow your people, you grow an organization, then you begin to see things growing. When you grow yourself, you get better. When you grow your people, you multiply. When you grow the organization, then you begin to make progress. So growth is critical to whatever we are doing. So when crisis comes, and we face crisis this year, when crisis comes, you can either go through a crisis or you can decide as a leader, which is the right thing to do. You can choose to grow through the crisis. That's what leaders do. Leaders grow through crisis. And that's what I'm inviting you to do. Grow through crisis. Whatever happens, allow the process, the things that you're going through to help you to develop yourself so that you get better every day. You know, you get to grow every day. Now let me share some thoughts about growth. Number 1 is that growth is a choice. You see, nobody, and I repeat, nobody can grow for you. You make that choice to grow for yourself. You make that choice. It's you that grow. You grow yourself. You make that choice. You know, and it's one of the critical choices that you make. It comes from making a decision that I'm going to grow myself. The moment you make that decision, then the choice to grow has become a part of you. Nobody can grow for you, so you need to make that choice. Number 2, growth inside is what propels growth outside. You see, a lot of times, people tend not to see you growing, you know, and they wonder why you are doing what you are doing. You know, maybe you have a structure and you are growing on your structure. You have a plan, you are growing on your plan. People don't see it happen, so they are wondering why you are doing what you are doing. Sometimes some of us might even be tempted to not do it again because we don't see it. But the truth is that the more you grow on the inside, it eventually shows. You see, when you grow on the inside, it shows on the outside. That's very important. You grow on the inside, then it shows on the outside. People don't get big overnight. Children don't just get big overnight. They keep taking little here, little there. They just keep taking those little, and then eventually it shows, and you're going to see it happen. Same goes with growth. When you are growing, it looks like it doesn't show. But the more you grow on the inside, I guarantee you, it will show on the outside. So growth on the inside is what propels growth on the outside. The third thing I want to share with you is that growth takes time. Growth takes time, and this is very critical. You see, growth cannot be forced. You can't push it. It's not something that you can force out. It takes time. You may grow every day, but it will not show every day. Let me take that again. You may grow every day, but it will not show every day. And this is why sometimes some people quit on the journey of growth. This is why people abandon the journey of growth and they just leave it. They leave it because they feel it's not coming. It takes time to grow. So you've got to give it the time that is needed. If you are going to grow, then you have to give it the time that is required. Is it 1 hour per day you want to schedule out for your growth? Or you want to schedule out 1 week per month or 3 days? Whatever it is, but you must pay attention to growth. You must give it time. And the reason why you give it time is because you value. See, what you don't value, you will not schedule time for. So when you value it, then you schedule time for it. The third or the fourth thing right now that I want to share with you about growth is that growth requires consistency. You see, you cannot, I mean, that's very funny. You can imagine that you load a child with a lot of foods today and just say, just take this amount of food and just give him a loaf of bread and then say, okay, you have enough for today, and he never eats for the rest of the month. That child is not going to grow. Same goes with you. If you are going to grow, then you've got to be consistent. There's going to be a measure of something that you are doing on a regular basis to help you grow yourself. You've got to be eating something on a regular basis. So you've got to be consistent with your growth. How much training do you want to receive? How much books do you want to read? How many seminars do you want to attend? What are you going to do to develop yourself in the different areas of your life on a regular basis? You've got to be definite about that. You can't do one today and leave it out tomorrow. Consistency is the key. And consistency compounds. You want to see compounding difference, then you've got to be consistent. Because when you do it, see, it's very simple. What you do habitually erupts eventually. Let me take that again. What you do habitually erupts eventually. So if you keep at it, if you are consistent with it, then you will see it in your life eventually. So what are the benefits of growth? What are the benefits of growing yourself? Number one, if you grow yourself, then you unlock your potential and achieve what you are meant to achieve. You see, one thing that great achievers are known for is that they're always getting better. See, why do people get bitter in life? Why do people get bitter in the office? Why do people get angry? Why do people just get bitter around life? They get bitter simply because for whatever reason, they are not getting better. Now, when you grow, you are able to unlock your potentials. Look at a child, for example. And I like to use children for my illustration of growth. Look at a child, for example. You would notice that every child practically has everything that an adult has. He has ears, he has a brain, he has eyes, he has legs, he has full hands, full fingers, everything that an adult has. He has muscles, he has everything that you have. But you know what? He is not able to fulfill his potential. He's not able to achieve what he would have achieved or what an adult would achieve. Why? Because he hasn't grown. He hasn't grown himself to that level. He can't carry what you can carry. Why? He has not grown. He has ears, he has a brain, but he can't understand what you understand. Why? Because he hasn't grown. But the moment he grows himself to where you have grown yourself, then he does everything and anything that you can do. So growth unlocks your potential and helps you to achieve everything that you want to achieve. So if you want to be a great achiever, I guarantee you, growth is one thing that will help you. Number 2, growth makes you feel good about yourself. I mean, that's the truth of the matter. Everyone wants to grow older, except when they have become old. Everybody wants to grow older. Nobody wants to become a child. After some time, they want to become a teenager and they want to become young adult. As it were, they want to become an adult. Everyone wants to grow somehow, because you see, growth makes us feel good about ourselves. You know, just imagine that somebody just told you that you made $1,000 or $10,000, depending on where you are, or maybe $1 million. Just imagine that somebody tells you that your business has grown from a $500,000 worth business to $500 million worth business. Just imagine somebody tells you that. Even before you see the money, there is a feeling, there's an excitement that comes from just knowing that your business has grown. That's how it is. Growth makes you feel good about yourself. The third thing is that growth helps you to be more, do more, and have more. See, when you grow, then you become more. And you see, in life, what we become is more important than what we have. Oh yes, what we become is more important than what we achieve. That's the thing about setting goals, you know, and this is the end of the year. You should be setting goals, and you might want to, I help people to set their goals and also set it in a way that they can achieve it. So you might want to talk to me about setting your goals for the 2021. If you are not yet there, if you have not yet done it, you might want to talk to us about setting goals for your life. But you see, that's the thing about goals. One of the mistakes people make in setting goals is that they set goals and they just look at what they want to achieve. But you see, the most important part of setting goals, one of the great benefits of setting goals is what you become in the process of achieving that goal. Because the goal makes you to become the person who is achieving whatever it is that you set the goals for. So it helps you to be more. You know, it helps you to be the leader, to be the person. It helps you to be the wife, to be the husband. Growth makes you, it helps you to be the man, helps you to be the president, be the doctor, whatever it is that you want. It's growth that makes you to be. And when you be, then you can do, and then you can have more. When you grow, your skills gets better. When your skills get better, your values are stronger, your character is deepened, and because of that, you are becoming more as a person. The fourth benefit is that growth proves you to be a leader others would want to follow. Now, I'm sure you've heard about the 5 levels of leadership. That there's a level of position. Position is a leader that people follow because they have to. But there's permission, where people allow you to lead them. That means you are a leader that people want to follow, not just have to follow. They follow you because they want to follow you. Now that happens when you grow. When you grow from just the table, the role, you grow from just the role you play, you grow into relationship. When you grow to become the person they want to follow, then it's easier for them to go with you. See, growth actually makes leadership easier. When you see a person who is growing, you've seen a person who others can follow very easily. And the fifth point I want to share on this is that growth attracts others. When you grow, people become attracted to you. Everyone looks at somebody who is growing, whether growing in their business, especially those who are growing personally. And what do they want to do? They want to follow them. You attract other people. More importantly, you attract other leaders. And that's where you must make growth a consistent part of your life. You see, if you are at the level of a 5, you will only attract people that are 4 and 3 and down. But if you grow yourself from a 5 to a 7, then you begin to attract 7s. See, the thing is that you never attract the people you like. You only attract the people who are like you. So the more you grow, the better the quality of people that you attract to yourself. So you have to keep growing. So please allow me to share a couple of the laws of leadership as I learned from my mentor, John C. Maxwell. Number 1 is the law of intentionality. The law of intentionality, and this is critical. See, that law states that growth does not just happen. I say that again. Growth does not just happen. Now, if any growth actually just happens, then it's going to be a growth that you really don't want in your life. Growth doesn't just happen. You've got to be intentional about it. And that thank God for those of you who I'm glad that some of you would come in here on a Sunday. In fact, one of our leaders who is always on this community says for me and for some of the people who are serious and following me seriously, Sunday 6 p.m. Nigerian time is sacrosanct. He says, I'm always here. I'm always expecting to be here. He said, because this is my growth table. This is where I come to feed myself for growth. He has made it an intentional thing to be here on a regular basis. You've got to be intentional. Being here is intentionality in the place of growth. Growth doesn't just happen. You've got to make it happen. You see, intentionality is what makes the difference between a forest and a garden. See, a forest is a place where trees grow. A garden is a place where trees grow. But in a garden, somebody is intentional about the kind of trees that will be there and how they are going to grow, how high they will grow, how to trim them and cut them. Why? The intentionality there brings out the beauty of the garden. The garden is more beautiful because someone is intentional about it. In the same way, your life becomes beautiful when you are intentional about your growth. Intentionality means that you are beginning with the end in view. What kind of garden do you want to grow? So what kind of plant are you going to be growing in that garden? In the same way, where are the areas of your life where you need to grow? Where do you need to grow? Which are the areas of your life that requires your attention? Where do you need to grow? What kind of seed do you require to sow or to plant so that you can grow, so that you can reach the end that you really want to reach in that dimension? That's very important. Now, do you have a plan to grow? That's the question I'd like to ask you. Do you have a plan to grow? Do you really have a plan to grow? That's very critical. What's your plan to grow? Can you share with somebody? Can you share with anybody your plan to grow? If you have a plan to grow, that's fantastic. If you don't have one, I think you need to design a plan to grow. Maybe what I'm going to do is that in the next couple of days, I'm going to post some questions that you need to ask yourself, or some areas that you will need to probably look at to grow in. There are 12 areas, critical areas that everyone needs to grow in. Your finances, you need to make plans to grow in your security and spirituality. You need to make plans to grow in your fitness. You need to make plans to grow in your health and wellness. That's fitness. You need to make plans to grow in your relationship. You need to make plans to grow in your home and family. There are areas. I'm going to post that in for you so that you can look at it and probably ask you a couple of questions that will help you to design a path to your growth journey. But listen to me. There are a couple of reasons why people don't grow. Let me share with you. Number one is assumption. When people assume they will grow automatically, then they don't grow. Because growth does not just happen. It won't happen. Never does. Never has and never will. The second thing is lack of know-how. A lot of times we are boxed in by this, I don't know how. But the truth is that you really don't know how until you get to do certain things. There's nothing we can't learn. So go out there and learn. How do I grow? Somebody is out there who's going to help you, and there's no one who has ever asked who doesn't receive. And ask and you shall receive means that if you ask questions, you get answers. If you don't get answers, it's probably because you're not asking questions or you're not asking the right questions. So there are some people who don't grow because they lack the know-how. So they say to themselves, I don't know how to grow, so they don't grow. Number three is timing. Some people believe that it's not yet time to grow, but the truth is, the best time to grow is right now. Right now. Or let me say, the best time to grow was yesterday. The next best time to grow is right now. You just have to begin from where you are. That's where you are. That's where you are. Wherever you are, that's where you are. Just be present. You can't complain that you didn't start 20 years ago. This is where you are. If you are 20, you need to grow. If you are 40, you need to grow. Even if you are 60, you still need to grow. If you are 70, you got to grow. If you are 80, you even need to grow some more. So you've got to grow. Timing should not stop you. There's no better time to grow than now. The fourth reason is the fear of mistake. And everyone makes mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone. The truth is, your mistakes actually can help you to grow. So don't deny yourself growth because of the mistakes that you are afraid to make. You haven't even made them. Then the very thing that you fear It is actually a part of your growth journey. The mistakes, they are part of it. So you've got to allow yourself that freedom to grow by not being afraid of mistakes. Your mistakes will help you even to grow. And then number 5 is the desire to be perfect. We cannot be perfect. There's no such thing as perfect. We get better. We keep getting better. So you are not looking for perfect. And you see, don't just be authentic with yourself. Stop looking for perfect. You don't need to be perfect to become productive. Just be authentic with yourself. Intentionality demands that you have a plan to grow. So what's your growth plan? Get it in. The second law that I want to share with you is the law of awareness. And I'm sure that I've mentioned this on this community before, but some of you probably are new to the community and you may never have heard me and you may never have heard this before. But law of awareness actually says that you need to know yourself to grow yourself. That's awesome. That's critical. That's very important. You need to know yourself. Many times people don't know themselves. They actually think they know themselves, but the truth is that they only know about themselves. You need to know yourself to grow yourself. And when I say you need to know yourself, it means you need to know yourself intentionally. You need to know yourself consciously, not unconsciously. What are your strengths? What are your interests? What are your abilities? What do you love? What's your purpose? You need to know yourself. Why are you here? You need to know yourself so that you can grow yourself. Because if you don't know yourself, taking the journey of life becomes difficult for you. So you need to know where you are also. You need to know where you are. So that's where you are beginning from. Your current state is critical because you grow from your current state. So you need to know where you are exactly. On all the areas of your life, where are you? See, there are 3 kinds of people. There are those who are confused. These are people who don't know what they want, so they don't do anything. They are confused. And you see, confusion can be a problem sometimes because you really don't know what next to do and what to do. So you're in a state of, I don't even know what to do. That's confusion. But there's another state, and that's the state of those who are frustrated. The frustrated are those who know but never do. They know they never do because they're not ready to do or because they don't know how to do. They are frustrated, and frustration can be a major problem. And sometimes assumption can actually become the mother of frustration. That's why it's good for you to be aware of yourself consciously. But you know what? There's also a better level, a third level as it were. That's the level of the fulfilled. People who are fulfilled know what they want and they go ahead and do it because they've learned how to do it. So where do you reside? Where have you rented space? Are you in the company of the confused, the company of the frustrated, or are you in the company of those that we can call fulfilled? You want to live a fulfilled life. I know. I trust you want to live a fulfilled life. How do you get to live a fulfilled life? You've got to live those levels. That means you've got to be consciously aware of who you are right now, what you want, and that's a critical question. A lot of times people don't know this. What do you really want out of life? That's very important. What do you want out of life? You've got to be consciously aware of that. If you are not consciously aware of that, then you have a problem. Let me read this to you. Woodrow Wilson, in an address, said, "We live in an age disturbed, confused, bewildered, and afraid of its own forces, in search not merely of its road, but even its direction. There are many voices of counsel, but few voices of vision. There is much excitement and feverish activities, but little concert of thoughtful purpose. We are distracted by our ungoverned, undirected energies and do many things, but nothing long. It is our duty to find ourselves." It's your duty to find yourself. So can I ask you, who are you? That's important. Who are you? You need to answer that question. In fact, don't step into 2021 without answering that question. Really, who are you? Not your name, not your identification. I'm talking about your identity, not even what you do. Who really are you? If you are going to maximize your potentials, then you need to be consciously aware of who you are. That's very important. See, there are 2 very important dates in your life. The first one is when you are born. The second one is the day you find out why you were born. Very critical. You've got to be conscious to know that. So go on that journey. Take a journey to discover your strengths, discover everything that you can discover about you. Discover your strengths, discover your interests, your gifts, your talents. Know yourself so that you can grow yourself. The third law I want to share, and I think that's going to be the final law that we're going to be looking at right now, is the law of environment. And that law is like, when you look at your garden, the question you want to ask yourself is that, what kind of plant can grow in this garden? Because see, for a garden to grow well, the environment is relevant. It's not every plant that can grow in the same place. Look around and see the environment determines the kind of plants that we can grow in certain places. So environment is very critical. What kind of environment are you going to be creating for yourself in the year 2021? Now, some people use their emotions to disrupt and destroy the environment around which they live, and because of that, they eventually do not maximize their potentials. You've got to be careful the kind of environment that you are growing. You are growing in. You've got to be careful of the kind of environment that grows in the environment. And then as a leader, you've got to be careful the kind of environment that you create in your workplace. I was listening to a great guy, Simon Sinek, a great leader. I was listening to him, I think it was yesterday or so, and Simon Sinek said that the leader is not responsible for results. It is the people, the followers, that are responsible for results. The leader is responsible for the people. So the leader creates the environment in which the people can maximize their potentials and provide the result that needs to be provided. What environment are you creating for the people that you lead? What environment are you creating for yourself? Because if you want to grow, then you've got to have the right environment for growth. Let me share 5 indicators of a growth environment where growth takes place. Number 1 is, it's an environment where others are ahead of you. My mentor often says that if you are always at the head of the class, then your time in that class is over. You need to step out. You've got to be in an environment where others are ahead of you, so that you can have something that is at least taking you to them, something that is pushing you, as it were. Number 2 is an environment where others encourage you. We need an encouraging environment. Encouragement matters more than anything else. I mean, that's like being a voice of hope. We've got to be able to let people know that tomorrow can be better, that this can pass, this also will pass. Be a voice of encouragement, be a voice of hope. That's very important. Number 3 is an environment where you are out of your comfort zone. You see, many times we want to stay in their comfort zone. We don't want to stretch. But the truth is that if you don't stretch, there are many things that you cannot reach. If you don't stretch, there are many things you cannot reach. If you want to extend your reach, then you must stretch. You must step out of your comfort zone and get into your strength zone. That's what we should be doing. We should constantly be in our strength zone, not our comfort zone. Now, number 4 is it's an environment where failure is not an enemy. It's not a place where we celebrate failure actually, but a place where we utilize failure for our next best thing. That's very important. And number 5, it's an environment where others are growing too. You don't want to grow alone. You want to grow with others. That's why I like this community, your leadership community. This is a place where we grow together. And that's why you see, I post and I say, let's do this and grow together. You see, my growth cannot hinder your growth. And your growth cannot, it should not hinder each other's growth. We grow together. That way, we make the world a better place to be. So, how do you cultivate that environment? I close with that. Number 1, get around great people. You will only be as good as the people that are around you. Get around great people. Number 2, get to visit great places. Expand your horizon. Let your exposure increase so that your experiences can be better in life. Get to visit great places. Number 3, get to read great books. It's often said that leaders are readers, and I agree firmly with that. But great leaders read great books. What kind of books are you reading? What books are you going to read? in 2021? Are you preparing yourself? Are you thinking about the books you're going to read? What kind of books, what areas are going to be your areas of interest for reading? And of course, the final thing is get to attend great events. This is one of such events, but there are many other events that will happen. Get to attend great events. I attend great events, like I go to the US every year, and I want to attend the IMC, the International Maxwell Certification Program, because in that program, the exposure is wide. I see and I get to meet a lot of people. It helps me to grow. I see what others are doing and I'm challenged about what they are doing. So you've got to do these 4 things. And I'm sure that as you do them, then you are creating an environment that is great for you. If you are a leader, bring other leaders like you to a community like this. Bring your team here and let them learn to you. When they grow with you, then you begin to multiply your influence, because they will always remember that you are the one who brought them into a place where they got value in their life. So indirectly, you are the one who is adding value to them. Thank you so very much, and I hope that today I was able to add value to you once again. It's your leadership community, and I'm so blessed always to be with you. Don't forget, as a facilitator recruiter, I'm inviting you to join me at the Change Your World Leadership Round Table. You want to be there because, you see, this world will change one table at a time, and I need you at that table. So please click on the link right now. Before you go, click on that link, register with me. Let's do this together, and like I always say, let's grow. Thank you very much. I'll see you very soon. Be well. Have a great day.
This phase is not the end of the story. There is more to who you are than today reveals. You are not made for lowly heights, so raise the bar and be better. Explore new frontiers. I am cheering, waiting on the other side. Keep advancing. God has given all you need. There are people following the path you lead. Yeah, 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 oh yeah, yeah. Every day is just a gift to become a better you. Now is where your pages begin. Don't stop it. Tomorrow's great, hope you hear me. Don't you drown in the glory of yesterday.